Hello again, Chris Lee and Jay Greeson of Southeastern 16 here to give you three bold predictions for the Tigers in the coming season. These are brought to you by FanDuel, where you can get player props. You can get same-game parlays with FanDuel's SGP menu that is deep and impressive. So you can build some really fun combinations around player performances and game outcomes. FanDuel has you covered with competitive odds and tons of betting options. Just remember to bet responsibly and have fun with it. Jay, what do you see of interest regarding LSU today at FanDuel?
A lot to like about LSU, not only their football team, but some of the odds that FanDuel has tossed out there. The season opening matchup between Clemson and LSU features guys who are tied for second on FanDuel's shortest Heisman odds. Of course, Texas's Arch Manning is the favorite at plus 700, but Cade Klubnik and Garrett Nussmeier are each plus 900, which is tied for second on FanDuel's big board in terms of Heisman favorites. The bet I like most is probably, and I'm bullish on these Tigers, even though they've got to replace a couple of tackles, is LSU is still right at plus 120 or around there on FanDuel to make the college football playoff. And LSU making the playoff at plus money is something I'm interested in.
We are also brought to you by GameTime SIDEKICKS. It is officially licensed stainless steel drinkware, all SEC schools, over 350 other universities. It is top of the market quality in terms of construction and ice retention. It's got tons of designs and logos for each school, and even offer a college vault line, everything from stainless steel sippy cups, tumblers, 40-ounce bottles, and shaker cups. Use SE16 for your 20% discount at GameTimeSidekicks.com. Again, they make specialty stuff. One of the things I was showing earlier, the championship mug for the Tigers for the baseball national championship. They've got tons of LSU title merchandise there and also general SEC stuff. GameTimeSidekicks.com, SE16 gets you 20% off. Well, Jay, we are both bullish on LSU, and one reason, and I don't explain this to me. I've seen this in a lot of our live shows where fans are just going off on LSU's defense. Like they have no chance to be any good. I'm like, you got Harold Perkins coming back. You've got Whit Weeks coming back. Perkins is healthy this year. You got Blake Baker, who knows what he's doing. And you've also got this one, which I didn't have on my radar. But, boy, if you're right here, I think it's going to be a big year in Baton Rouge.
DJ Pickett, the consensus five-star freshman from Florida, highest-rated player in LSU's recruiting class. He is unbelievably athletic. And even moreover than that, he's the modern version of what you're looking for. As all these wide receivers get bigger, DJ Pickett's 6'4" and can run with these kids. And he has been turning heads. He was there early, participated in spring practice. I think sooner rather than later, he is on the field in almost every meaningful down at LSU. And I've got him in a modern era that is dominated by portal. So the quote-unquote newcomer, I mean, for God's sakes, last year Diego Pavia was the newcomer in the SEC, and he was like 29 years old. So, but I think DJ Pickett is going to be the most impactful freshman in the SEC and be freshman of the year. The only one I think that could give him a run for his money is the Tennessee right tackle, David Sharp.
Well, heights are interesting things. I've seen kids a lot of times given 2, maybe even 3 inches on the bio. Wikipedia's kind of at 6'5", though. If he's anywhere in that range, like when's the last time you saw a good corner that size? I can't think of one.
Well, with that size, with that athletic ability, and being able to run and jump with these bigger versions of wide receivers allows. I mean, look, there was a run there, and LSU can stand right there with Ohio State and Alabama and say, who wants to trot out their best resume on being wide receiver U? There was a run there in the early 2000s and into the 2010s where LSU was DBU. Yes. And I think DJ Pickett is going to be the next future number 7 wearing All-American corner for the Tigers.
Well, I thought the back seven was going to be pretty good anyway, based on the linebacking core, and I thought they were going to be okay in the secondary. If you're right about that, though, they got a chance to be really good. That wasn't the reason I made this prediction, but it makes me feel better about it. I've got LSU making the college football playoff. Jay, I know the schedule will be formidable, but I think LSU's got the talent, particularly with what it added on offense, to be there in the end, even with some teams that could make it difficult, including the opener.
Well, I think we did it across the conference on some of our fearless predictions, so I'm not going to reiterate it here, but I've got Garrett Nussmeier being invited to the Downtown Athletic Club. And think about this on what he has on the perimeter. And two of their bigger portal additions at wide receiver, Nick Anderson and the kid from Kentucky.
Barry Brown.
Yeah. I've actually now seen a lot of depth charts where they're second team. So
yeah.
The perimeter talent is there every year, and Aaron Anderson's a boss wide receiver. So the talent is around him for Nussmeier in this offense, especially with Caden Durham being a little more seasoned and hopefully getting a little bit bigger call from Brian Kelly in that offense, to have an unbelievably prolific offense. But they're going to need it, man. Think about this. LSU plays Cade Klubnik. LSU plays DJ Lagway. LSU plays Austin Simmons. LSU plays Lenora Sellers and Diego Pavia in the first 7 weeks of the season. So,
yeah.
Yes, but this is, whether you lose at Clemson, and one of mine, I mean, I agree with you. I think they are a playoff team. And even if you get a little bit of a mulligan playing Clemson at Clemson, but if you win that game, then you've got an extra mulligan in your bag somewhere through the rest of the season.
Yeah, and I'm glad you mentioned Barry Brown. Like, he kind of got lost in the shuffle last year in the SEC because Kentucky was not any good, and there were a lot of good receivers. Barry Brown is a guy that could start for just about anybody. And by the way, one place LSU's not always been good under Brian Kelly has been special teams. He is one of the best kick returners in the league, and maybe even the best.
Yeah, and has a chance with another year like some of his previous runs in Lexington to be considered among at least the most accomplished kick returners this league's ever seen, which is saying something. I mean, what does he have? Doesn't he have like 5 kickoff returns for touchdowns?
Oh, it's a lot. I don't know the number, but there's been some long ones in there too. You look at the other part of the roster too. You know, Caden Durham is an upgrade at running back over what they've had, I think, in recent years. You know, had a nice season for them a year ago as a freshman. And then you got some depth, like Michael Van Buren. Nobody's talking about him much because of Nussmeier, but he did a really good job at Mississippi State, leading kind of a disaster there when Blake Shapen got hurt. Like, I feel like they've got some depth in the quarterback and receiving rooms, and even at running back, where they brought in a couple of highly regarded 4- and 5-star kids too, Harlan Berry being a name to watch. I just feel like you look around and like your question is replacing those tackles. It's not that they lack for quality, but they're not 2 first-rounders off the bat like you had a year ago. But I look everywhere else, and we don't talk enough about depth, Jay. What happens when something goes wrong? I think that's a place where LSU offensively is pretty well stocked, which increases my confidence a bit in saying that I think they'll make it to the playoff.
Yeah, and I'm with you. I mentioned the FanDuel odds being you still can get plus money for that. The over-under on their win total. Now, again, you got to pay some heavy odds, but their FanDuel win total is 8.5, which I think is certainly something you got to believe is over if we're talking about them being a playoff team.
Yeah. Well, a lot is going to hinge on this, Jay. And you got a prediction in game one. I think I agree with you here. LSU's just had fits and openers, although Clemson has too. But you've kind of maintained that's a free spot on the bingo card for them. And if the second part of your prediction here happens, than I think mine, which is that LSU will make the college football playoff, is more likely to come true.
I agree. And I did just look it up. He's got 5 career kickoff returns, Barry and Brown, that is. The NCAA record is he is the SEC record holder with 5 career kickoff return for scores. The NCAA record is 7.
Wow. Was it Billy Cannon?
No, held by a handful of guys, most notably or most recognizable, Tony Pollard at Memphis, C.J. Spiller at Clemson, and Rashad Penny at San Diego State.
Gotcha. Okay, well, tell me more about LSU playing in the title game, because it's not going to be an easy road to navigate to get there. You know, you got Florida on the schedule, Ole Miss on the schedule. Not that it's ever easy in the SEC. South Carolina, Vandy on the road, A&M, Alabama, Arkansas, Oklahoma. I mean, my goodness, if LSU gets there, it will have more than earned it.
Absolutely. But I've got LSU getting there because there's no Georgia, no Texas on the schedule. And the other one of the big 4 that is on the schedule is Alabama and Red Stick. So the elite conversations, I mean, Georgia's got Texas and Alabama. Alabama's got Georgia and LSU. So this is, at least in league play, the schedule sets up for LSU. And then you look at all of those elite top 4 teams that we all kind of have in our top 4 across the SEC. Okay, they're all deep. They're all super talented. They all are dotted with future NFL players. But of those 4 teams, Arch Manning's Heisman odds notwithstanding, you've got to trust Garrett Nussmeier at the most important position in all of team sports a hell of a lot more than you trust Ty Simpson, Gunnar Stockton, or Arch Manning.
Yeah, in my opinion, he's the best player in the league coming into the season. I also had on the table Nussmeier to win the Heisman, which I've made other places too. So there's just lots of predictions that we can make that are positive around this team.
And, yeah, they're all bullish on – now, that also works against Brian Kelly. Brian Kelly, you don't find a way to the playoff this year, brother, and you're going to need to go answer the white courtesy phone.
Right. Well, let's get to – I want to get Nussmeier's latest odds at FanDuel. I'll have you pull that up while I'm giving a shout-out to another sponsor here. That is ROKFORM. It makes the world's strongest magnetic phone case. Extreme protection, super strong magnets, and rock lock secure mounting. It is the most durable phone case you can find, and accessories, same thing with those too. And it's got plenty of them at ROKFORM. At ROKFORM, quality is paramount, so you can expect the same military grade standards that you see for all the products here, as well as the case accessories too, as we said. SEC 25 for 25% off your entire order at rockform.com, ROKFORM.com. Okay, also FanDuel. We talked about them. They are our title sponsor. You get player props, same game parlays, and competitive odds, and tons of betting options. Just remember to be responsible and have fun with it. Jay Greeson, what do you see on odds for the Heisman for Garrett Nussmeier and anything of interest elsewhere with LSU?
Well, the Heisman odds for Nussmeier are plus 900, which is tied for the second shortest. But I tell you one, if you're as bullish on LSU as we are, Texas is the favorite to win the SEC at plus 280. Georgia's next at plus 290. Alabama's at plus 470. Well, LSU you can still get at plus 600 at FanDuel. We think because of only having one of those big 4 or those other big 3 on your schedule, getting to Atlanta is half that battle. Because if you've got LSU at plus 600 and you concurred with my prediction that they're going to get to Atlanta, you're going to be in a position to make money if LSU gets there, because you can then hedge the other way with a sizable investment or a sizable payoff at plus 600. So I've talked myself into the LSU to win the SEC as a money-making venture. And I certainly, even at extreme odds, think over 8.5 is the play on the season total.
Well, we think it'll be a big year for LSU. Either way, we'll be here to cover it. We've got you covered in football, baseball, and men's basketball in the SEC. Hit that subscribe button and like button if you haven't already. That is all free. For Jay Greeson, I'm Chris Lee. You've been watching and listening to our LSU bold predictions for this football season. Thank you for watching. God bless you. We'll see you again soon.